thing that I would add about, you talked about mentorship. One thing that we old guys have to remember is that mentoring works both ways. So you have no idea how much younger instructors, such as yourself, John, have taught me. I learned from everybody I've ever taught. And someday I'll even figure out how to fly an airplane properly. So,
well, that leads me to one of my favorite stories. When I was getting qualified, I needed some instructor time from CFII, and they were a bit hard to find, but someone recommended that I get a hold of Vern Foster, who was a flight instructor at the United Training Center there in Denver. And so I did, and so he shows up, and I grabbed the keys and clipboard, and I said, "Okay, let's go." And he says, "Wait a minute, what's wrong?" He says, "Well, we're going to have a briefing first." "Oh, really?" "Oh, okay." So we have this nice briefing, and then we go and fly, and every time he touches the controls, it's like a symphony, with that airplane. And so we come back, and I said, "Okay, when can we schedule it?" He says, "Well, not so fast." "What's wrong?" He says, "Well, we need to debrief, and then we need to talk about what we're going to do the next time." Really? Wow. This is neat, So one time after flying, we go over to the Sky Chef restaurant there in the tower there at Denver Stapleton Airport, and we have a cup of coffee or a bite of lunch or something, and that was one of my favorite parts is with Vern. But he said, "Well, Kenny," he says, "you get all these qualifications. Are you going to be applying with the airlines?" And I said, "No, I don't think so." I said, "I've always been a general aviation brat, and I think what I'd like to do is get qualified as an instructor and instruct for a while and see where that leads." And he smiled and he says, "Good for you." So when we get a new class of new hires there at United, and this was when it was DC-7s that they were training in, and he says, "We as instructors can work with the class for just a couple of days, and we can immediately pick out who had experience as flight instructors, because their fundamental knowledge on the basics is so essential. And then when we start flying with them, then we can really tell, flight instructors, rather than those that were crop duster pilots or charter pilots and bonanzas or whatever, And he says the way you develop the techniques really stands out. He says, "In other words, Kenny, you get 2,000 hours teaching somebody how to fly straight and level. You get so you can do it yourself."